30 days starting now. This is where every challenge begins. A time frame that is short enough to commit to and long enough to feel the difference. No more eating cookies to feel better, no quick pick-me-ups in the middle of the day, and no more cakes on the weekend. When I started, I had to sign a contract that I'm not going to cry about it until I receive cake. And I did it. Not cry about it, but I did the challenge. And I'm so proud of myself. But why do it in the first place? The quick answer is added sugar is empty calories. 100 grams of Oreo cookies have 42 grams of sugar and 480 calories. Compare that to 12 grams of sugar and 89 calories for 100 grams of banana, and you can easily see how this is a weight loss pitfall. Additionally, foods with added sugar are often processed with lots of empty calories, saturated fats, salt, and other things that you don't want much of in your body. Everybody knows there is a lot of health reasons why you would want to quit sugar, but for me there was also very important psychological ones. For example, I was often using sugars as an easy, fast snack, which would prevent me from cooking. And when times were tough, when I was having a hard day, I would use sugar to make myself feel better. And I didn't want that. That was my why. And if you want to do this challenge, you're going to need a why. Because for 30 days, I tracked my cravings for processed foods with added sugar, and in the beginning, it was anything but easy. I felt like things were going smooth, but then I would have sudden cravings, headaches, and intrusive thoughts about food. I was dreaming of the final day when I would reward myself with a big fat cake for my perseverance. But that day never came. My cravings were diminishing. Whereas in the beginning, I was supplementing with fruits for my cravings for added sugar, even that normalized, and I discovered something really strange. Fruit tastes godlike. It's like really, really sweet. I used to look at food recommendations for 3 to 5 pieces of fruit per day and think, who actually does that? But what I considered to be a nearly tasteless health food started tasting heavenly to me. Mangoes were sweet, blueberries were like candy, and bananas actually made my mouth water. I was reset. I completed the challenge back in May, and I could have made this video back then, but I knew that there was something more to it. So I went to do some research. I found out that our cravings for sweet foods are determined by several different factors. Depending on how sensitive you are to sweetness, a piece of fruit might taste completely bland or deliciously sweet to you. And some of the reasons for that are genetic, but others are behavioral. For one, our gut bacteria can actually tell us what they like. If we eat a lot of simple sugars, we're going to have a lot of bacteria that are meant to digest those simple sugars. When they're craving the food that they normally eat, they have their chemical reactions, their neurotransmitters that tell this to our minds. So this can make a piece of fruit versus a piece of candy seem very unappealing in our perception. Also, based on your body mass index, there is a hormone that can make you feel less sensitive to sweetness. Long story short, if you eat a lot of added sugar, your body adjusts to it, and any excessive weight gain that might arise from that is also not going to help. So it wasn't just my imagination. Our bodies actually crave what we're giving them. And it's not just a scientific fact. I will have all resources down in the description. But it's something that I'm actively trying to take advantage of. And if you would like to feel what that is like, feel the difference, here's what you can do. First, I think a 30-day challenge is the perfect format for this. You should pick a relatively quiet month of your life, no birthday parties with delicious cake offerings on the horizon, and set yourself up for one. If you want, you can take a piece of paper and write down the days and cross off every day that you feel that you were successful. You can also write down your sugar cravings from 1 to 10, which is just going to help you in retrospect to see how your body has changed. And that's your motivation, that's your why. Second, fruits are your friend. Even if they break down into the same sugar as processed sugars, there are still many differences between the two. Digesting fruits releases a slow, steady stream of sugar into the bloodstream, which means they never peak your blood sugar, only to crash and burn soon after. In addition to being super healthy, fruits have also not been linked to obesity in several conducted studies. And third, you want to avoid the obvious sources of added sugar. No sweeteners in your tea or coffee, no extra biscuits on the side, and no sneaky dessert in the freezer. It is crucially important to physically distance yourself from these teasers, as you cannot rely solely on your willpower when the deepest cravings strike. Imagine you have gotten up early, you have done your workout, done your tasks, and then you see a delicious piece of cake in the fridge. You're not going to have the same willpower to withstand it as if it just wasn't there. So it's best to give it to your friends, give it away, hide it. And final point, avoid processed foods. The main reason for that is, of course, sugar is added to many sauces, ready meals, cans, drinks, snacks, yogurts, etc. If you avoid the usage of such foods, you will not only help yourself complete the challenge, but bring mindfulness to what you're eating and putting in your body. And once you have that mindfulness, once you feel like you have regained your baseline sugar sensitivity, you should 100% have that piece of cake. You should definitely let yourself have a treat then and again. But thankfully, in my experience, that has not really been the case because the crazy cravings just subside. How hard is it really? From one meta-analysis, sugar meets many of the criteria for a substance of abuse and could be potentially addictive to humans. Because of the nature of addiction, simply telling people to consume less sugar is unlikely to be successful. This is why I want you to remember your why. This is when it becomes really important, because having an idea is one thing, but actually following through with it will require a very strong why. But you're not alone. You can always tell a friend and make them your accountability buddy to do the sugar challenge with. Let them interfere whenever you need help. Remember, I had a whole contract for that. Design your environment to help you kick the habit and don't think in absolutes. You can have your sugary snack then and again, but first, you need control. So how is the future of sweetness looking for me now? I have systematically been switching to a more whole foods diet, which automatically helps me leave sugar out and helps me deal with my cravings and my relationship with food. That being said, I 100% will allow myself to have a cake or a piece of candy then and again, but you won't find it in my cupboard. You are going to benefit from trying this challenge, if anything, just from seeing how your body behaves when you let that stimulant out and let it cleanse itself. And if you go back to being however you were eating before, that's perfectly fine. At least you tried. Remember, you need your why. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon.